So welcome everyone. Welcome to the live dev Q&A. I'll do the introductions again because more people are coming in now. So on the left, we have Leah, who's our head of production. Then we have Neil Thompson, our art director and head of audio. Got Aaron Flynn, CEO, and Bjorn Taylor, our lead designer. So welcome. We're going to be asking questions. I'll be taking them from chat and I'll be taking them from the forum because people have been asking questions over the last few days. I'm Dave. I'm or Scarbs. I'm head of comms. I'm going to start off as I did last time. Going to grab a question straight from the chat. First question. Let's go. Make it good. Not my credit card numbers this time.
Oh, that one. Can we do that one? State of Survival podcast. Neil could tackle that one pretty well.
Yeah. Do you guys have any plans to show off more concept artwork?
Yeah, I think we shown most of it now. I think if you have the art book available on Steam and all good booksellers, that has a fantastic collection of the concept art. But yeah, we're more than happy to release more concept art. We did a lot. We continue to do a lot.
Great. So I'm going to go into the questions that we received previously. We have one from, where is it? The one that I liked earlier that I saw. Someone was asking, when I find it, oh my gosh, my list is really confusing to read. Is there going to be an ocean or any waterway content planned, like a biome, something like Atlantis? And that was from the Big Beetle.
I think one day we could do something like that. Like, I think we'd probably first have to tackle 3D swimming. And because my sense is that's what you're getting at, is the fun of moving in 3 dimensions and such. But yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing about the Nightingale universe is that probably Atlantis is out there somewhere in the Fey realms, and it's probably it was really a Fey city, and you could imagine incorporating that pretty well. It'd be really, really fun to go explore that. But we'd probably get they would come along with a lot of gameplay changes, so we have to work on those first, and then we could get confident in our ability to pay that off pretty well.
The bonus? The divers?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they're super cool.
Our water shape is supported as well.
I'm going to address it now because people are going to keep asking it. They want an update on hogs with rifles. It's been a few weeks. Is it in the game? If you may remember in the last live Q&A, this was a highly anticipated feature that you teased. Maybe not so seriously.
Still working on it. No concrete timeline yet. When does maybe I go out? Is it in?
Got 3, yeah.
Oh yeah. So we did the bound sniper. Oh yeah. That's a bound with a rifle. But yeah, I get it. It's not
A lot of hot.
It's not I get it. Long-term planning.
We got that question from Eagle as well. So thanks, Eagle, as I see you're in the chat. This is one that we keep getting. So it's good to ask it now. Update on the decoration limits, on the structure limits. What are our plans around that? What are we doing? I think it's, everyone's sort of looking for an update on that front.
Yeah, I could take that one. So that work has officially kicked off internally. There was a lot of discussion. We chatted with Epic. We chatted with a few folks about what the best technological recommendation would be for that. So that work is officially going. And we're going to support the team with everything they need, very similar to what we did with offline mode. And we'll just take it week by week and see how the progress they make is. I think first and foremost, we want to clear up the confusion of the UI and why it's sometimes confusing as to how many structure parts you have and don't have, et cetera. And we can probably do that sooner than we can actually make the big improvements to the structure caps, but all that work is underway now.
Great. Kaz asks, when designing clothing styles within the game, which part leads? Is it the art design that leads to the material stats, or the ideal material parts elements that lead to the artwork design? So is it like the function over the fashion, or is it the fashion and then the function comes later?
It depends. We've done it both ways around. With the more sort of ornate Victorian clothing, we tend just to do some cool clothing designs, and then we just build them. But when it's for a specific purpose, then we'll do the function, and then the design follows the function.
Yeah, I think to add to that, like we often get the art first, but that doesn't necessarily say like what tier it's in. So like it's obviously cloth. We would make it out of cloth, but like which specific pieces like is usually determined after we sort of see it. We've had certain requests of like this tier needs more clothes, so we'll go to like art with those requests. But that's about as complex as the request gets.
Excellent. I've got questions that I've taken from the forum, and I see it here in chat as well. Some folks are looking for an update on mounts, or people who weren't in the previous Q&A is just asking, like, do we have any plans for mounts or vehicles in the future? You know, what would that look like?
Not in the short term, but yes, that is something that I would like to do long term. It's just a matter of when we're able to get to them. It's not anything.
Yeah, and as I said before, penny farthings would be awesome. Just putting it out there again, just throwing it into the crowd, you know, seeing what the response is.
There's a really cool concept in the art book which links directly to this feature. 100%.
There's a guy in Edmonton where we're all located, and he rides a penny farthing, and you can see him every now and then, and he even does it in the winter, believe it or not. And I was outside one day, and sure enough, I see this thing coming. I got a video of it. I actually pulled my car over and I got out of my car to get a video of it because he was just whipping along this path. He was going on this, and the wheel was taller than I was. He was perched right there. I've never seen a guy ride a penny farthing in real life, and there he was in Edmonton of all places. We will definitely grab him and do mocap when the time is right.
Does he have a bowler hat and a mustache as well?
We could get him that pretty easily, I think.
Diving into the forum posts, we had a question around magic for guns and being able to put enchantments on guns, or I know we obviously have bullets with various abilities, but I think people are looking if there's any sort of spellcraft in the future around firearms.
Probably not, because it competes with the spells for the button radial. But I could see us expanding what constitutes magic ammo in the future, if that makes sense. So like you can imagine rounds that do a different effect necessarily than just an explosion. That would be something that would work within our systems, but probably not the same type of spells that are on, say, the tool.
Okay. And have we considered a charm of soaring that works like the favor of soaring? And that's from Abel J.
We have not, but that could work. Like, I don't know why it wouldn't. Like, it'd be a very powerful charm, but yeah.
Okay, there we go. Will there be summoning magic soon? And that's from Mito.
Maybe.
The summoning magic is always a lot of fun. The biggest thing that we have to keep an eye on is the performance. When you get up to, say, 6 players all with their summoning magic. But in terms of like a fun experience, yeah, I love summoning magic. So does I think lots of members of our gameplay team.
Cool. And people asked this before you guys joined. Controversial topic. Is there any update if Titania's crown is in the game or not? There's a potion that can't be made without it, but no one can find it.
David.
That's
Acts like a bug.
Titania scubs.
Titania. What did I say? Titan. It's spelled the same, right?
Like titanium.
Aluminium. I've been told.
They also spelled it.
It will follow up on the Titania's crown thing. Sorry about that.
Cool. So I'll go into some more sort of like questions that are sort of in some ways critiques at the same time. base fragility, is it intended to be as high as it is? Have we got plans to adjust it? And that's from a Pothet. Pothet? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Apologies.
It's definitely been something we've talked about. And yes, like I think we will need to adjust it. Like the critical problem is the abeyance realm, which is typically where people live. Scales the health of your buildings. Since it's such a low realm, when you level up your weapons, it's greatly outclocking your base. Yeah, it's something that we need to adjust or how it works.
Profit, yeah. Okay, looking into chat. Is there any plans to expand available commands for the NPC recruits, to become more independent when it comes to being able to assign gathering jobs away from the player? So yeah, more functionality, more ways to make them independent and to automate tasks, essentially.
We're definitely still working on the NPCs, like for functionality. The specifics of the commands, I don't know if we'll expand specifically that part of them, but in terms of like the functionality of the NPCs, that is something that we.
Awesome. That was from Shotgun Jones, which was easy to pronounce. And then again, taking from chat, Phantom Knight's asking about the potential to summon creatures or I guess companions in the future, dogs, bears, mechanical creatures, anything along those lines. Has been any thought to that idea?
Yeah, that's what I was that's what I had meant earlier about like summoning magic. Like I assume that if we did it, it would be like wisps, or it'd be like those blue like covered creatures that like the Carnute does, things like that. Love to.
Okay. Going back to bases, Simply Foxy asks, are there any plans to move bases to other realms, not just the starter realm? So I'm guessing what they mean by this is, having your respite outside of the set abeyance realms.
Yeah, actually, we'd love to be able to support that. So I think along with the structure cap changes, we'll look at that too, and we'll keep you posted. But we definitely get a lot of requests for people who want to build in any map. And you can build any map, but actually make that your home and make it your respite.
Awesome. It's come up a couple of times. Colonel Quispy, and I've said that right. That's not just my lisp. Asked, what are the plans for getting to Nightingale City?
Well, that's very much a longer term, I guess, adventure we want our players to go on. So the idea is that once we get our game working well through early access, then we'll start people up on the adventure towards Nightingale City, and all the fun that can be had there. But all the component pieces are there. The idea of having NPCs who very singular, like Alan Quatermain, who can approach that adventure, who can say, "We're starting, we're ready to go, let's do it." All those things are ready to go. So we just have to get a few more things fixed, like structure caps and some of the way we structure the realms and such. And when we're confident in that, then we'll work on the adventure towards Nightingale.
Great. I'm just looking. So, gosh, I'm trying to read people's usernames. I'm not going to bother. But someone asked, was Humbubba and the Bastille of Might made more scarce for the current event?
No.
I don't think so. No.
We didn't adjust any part. The only thing that really was adjusted was we added in the hopeful essences around the realms.
I can handle. I think it was Max the Gamers there about the player counts. No, we're not worried about it. Our game is not the kind of daily live service you've got to jump into every day and such. And so, we see these games do this where people surge in and then begin to leave. The real challenge for us, and the thing that we take very seriously, is creating cool enough content and fun enough adventures that even if you played it and left, you come back and you want to go enjoy it again and try new things. And so that's the important thing for us, is can we bring people back who've gone on and tried another game, and that's our current a lot of our work, right? Is taking the feedback from all of you from the various places like Steam and other things, and then work on the things that are going to pull players back when new updates come.
There we go. Prim is asking about someone we internally call Mr. Pickles, I believe. They're asking about some art they've seen, which features a creature that looks like a traditional fairy accompanying a realm walker. And isn't that intended to be a creature summon or some form of an NPC companion in the future?
I saw that question. Yeah, that's Mr. Pickles. He's a Pimlin.
So, of course.
But we don't know what to do with him yet. He's made the concept was first done, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago. And we love it. And he's become something of a mascot for the IP. But he doesn't actually appear in the game yet. Because when he does appear, I want it to be really meaningful, right? I want it, because it's got to. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. But we don't know what that might be. Yeah. My initial thought, I really like the idea that he's a wisp, and in the same way that Tinkerbell, is a little kind of floaty star, she can be more human form. Maybe Mr. Pickles could be something like that. So he chooses not to be in his current form. That was more on Mr. Pickles.
There we go.
Probably necessary. Very close.
I also
what was the species you said?
The Pimlin, Pimlin. Yeah.
There we go.
No.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, the species. Okay.
There is
As real as you want to.
there was a note about can we get the glyphs to be clearer on things? I would just ask that someone in this room maybe takes a note of that, and we'll go follow up with the team on that and make sure. Steph's nodding, thinking that stuff.
Yeah, Steph and Jarrett are watching, so one of those guys will do it.
Thank you, Pete Gaines.
There we go. Cool. May I send a compliment? You read that. That was Pete Gaines. Yeah, thank you for making such a beautiful and fun game. That's really nice. So thank you for saying that. Okay, going back to the forum. Photo mode. What are the plans for that?
I don't think we have an explicit photo mode in, because you can take you can already take the UI down with F4. Is it? Yeah, F4 and then take your screenshot. There are obviously more features we can add to it if we did a full-fledged photo mode, but because you can take the UI down with F4, we're just letting people take screenshots that way if they so inclined, and then we'll come up with some genuine photo mode. I think I mentioned this at the last Discord Q&A, but my dream is to have actually a real-time, old-timey Victorian photographer come around with a daguerreotype or an actual own camera, and you have to use that to get the photos. Maybe you get your own camera and you can do it that way, something like that. But that's what I would love to see. That's not a priority right now, unfortunately. What's there been no movement on Scar? I just missed the question.
Because the same question was asked last Q&A session, so it just seems there was an update. So there hasn't been any movement on it.
So which one though? I didn't miss the topic. I missed the topic.
Oh, on the photo mode.
Oh yeah, nope, not yet. But like I said, you can take cool screenshots with just dropping the UI with F4 print screen. Yeah.
The Foxer, who's one of our creators, has asked, will it be possible to get recipes for some of the loadout clothing so that you can have them in the end game and make them higher tier? I think people really, really like the loadout, the look of the new loadout outfits. The Lady in Red, I know, has been really, really popular. So yeah, people want to be able to use those throughout the game if they can.
Definitely. A lot of them would be like later game ones. If they're not in game now, which I'm guessing from the question they're not, should be soon. They were supposed to be, but not everything makes ever. Yeah, I'll look into that one.
Can we ask a question, Scouts? Could people write which loadout they prefer in the text? I'm just curious to know. Because I like the
So I wish I could do a poll. I don't think I can do a poll. Otherwise, can I do a poll? I can do a poll.
Yeah, red dress.
So maybe, yeah. Maybe Jarrett, you could do a poll with each of the names so people can vote on them.
The red dress, I'm positively had a way to build late game, but maybe I'd not make it. Okay. Well, soon.
Scholar as well. Yeah, red dress and scholar, popular ones. Jay, just press the plus button on chat and then you can do it. Okay, are there any plans to be able to, and I think we talked about this yesterday, Bjorn, when we did the stream with Jade, I think. It's definitely come up recently, but are there plans to be able to upgrade a building structure instead of having to delete and replace? And that's from Abel J.
Not currently. It has been talked about. Right now, very much in the upgrading the build limits mentality, which is we're not really working on other features on the structures until that refactor is complete. It has been something that has come up in the past, though. So maybe.
Cool. This is also from Abel J, but really this is my idea if people from the Discord recall from earlier today. Are there any plans for armor stands or mannequins to display different outfits that you've earned?
Yeah, definitely talking about that one. So I know we had the creature trophies that went out with the last piece, so it'd be very similar to that. And
Cool.
And then dyeing clothing, that question got a lot of things. Yeah, that's definitely that's on our development roadmap internally right now. So we're looking at that. Would love to have something on that sooner rather than later.
Cool. So I'm just reading Katari's question here. If it's in your list from the forums, yeah. Oh, are you reading it at the same time? Yeah. So building tiles. Yeah.
yes, we're gonna.
There's new sets coming in. You build. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna backport all of the extension, all of the tile sets as well as the ones covered. So if you love the cheaper tile set, you won't feel left out.
Sorry, Reap. I know. Terrible live streaming.
Yeah, we are planning a gothic tile set, so yeah.
Great. Okay. Sorry. I'm thrown off now. So someone has asked whether it's possible to have invisible foundations and pillars. This from Laughing Dead Man. So you can create more elaborate structures without having, pillars all through it. Does that make sense?
Are you looking for like actual floating things as well, or just ways to use the structure system in its current rule set, but not have the physical piece there on?
Yes, I think that's the question. So it's V-Rising has a similar thing where you can place invisible flooring, so you can see the floor below you, but for all the pieces still connect to make it a full structure. So I believe it's similar to that, having structural pieces that you can make invisible so that you can get a certain look and get a certain structure without being obstructed by things.
I also have heard that come up, Bjorn, of you. It's a neat idea. I mean, we've talked about invisible structures to do things like floating pieces and deliberately fey sort of tile structures and such, but never just for the pure. If I do it this way, I get this. We should look into that. Yeah,
it's an interesting thought. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the only thing that thinking in my head is the co-op with your friends not being able to see your floors. It's probably fine. You can tell them. The AI would be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it helps the structure cap thing though, because it's still present in the. It's not a rendering issue. It's an actual, having everything connected to everything else issue.
Well, we've definitely talked about.
There you go.
We will.
I was in a meeting yesterday. Bridges came up again. I want them.
Yeah, people seem to like that as a suggestion. So thank you, Laughing Dead Man. That's a really good question. What's going on with the rare materials? They have no stats or weak stats stats, sorry, that don't suit how hard they are to find.
This is referring, I assume, to the later game ones. They're all escaping.
Yeah.
We can take a look at those. Like, there's not anything currently going on. We've got a bunch of, like, there is a lot of rebalancing going on at the moment. Not that specifically, but we could look at that as well.
Yeah, Kaz says 230 gear score resources. That sort of thing. So yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay. Cool. Everyone's sort of chatting about the pillar stuff now. Any plans to, so this came on the forums from Tenny, any plans to change stats around the soft caps now that they've been implemented? So essentially, is that still an ongoing refinement, or, how do we feel about the way they are right now?
Yeah, the soft cap like values are very much something that will be tweaked like any of our other balance numbers. They help us with mostly like what we consider like exploits, but in some cases they might be tuned a little bit tight. Like movement, I know, comes up, but it's got other implications in terms of like and then like bigger volume, stuff like that. Yeah, it's always can be tweaked.
I'm going to take a couple more from the forums now. Iceheart asked, is there any harder content coming soon? I think we've seen this a bit in Steam and on the Discord. People are looking, as they've been playing for hundreds of hours, for more of a challenge in the realms.
There will be soon. I wouldn't use exactly that word. We're still like there's a few things that we are still sort of rebalancing and like rejiggering. When we get into like brand new content is probably when it will get harder.
Cool. And another question from Apothe, still probably saying it wrong. We've had this we've seen this a lot on since we announced the offline mode and since that went live. People are asking about private servers or sort of player-run private servers. And private co-op, and whether that's something we've been considering.
Yeah, well, I'll take the opportunity to remind everybody that the way we host the realms, you are getting effectively private servers now, where there's no risk of anybody coming into your realms and such like that, and things. Some of the things obviously we can't do in the current format. Private, when you get private, is tweaking variables in that. So if that's what you're looking for when you say private hosting and the ability to adjust rules and things like that, then yeah, I hear that loud and clear, and I think that's next on our set of topics to discuss internally now that offline mode is out, and figure out what the role of that is for all of you to put out there. The bigger struggle for us is, do we end up in a world where we've got so many testing paths to ensure things are working, that because you've got to play offline and official servers and then local hosted player servers. Can we do that? And so we have to rationalize that. But if we get there, then we get there. It'd be cool.
It's a question. Get a brother, get a sword for use of the game.
We have talked about that. Yeah. Like, if it's not period. Swords are obviously not period specific. I guess maybe rapiers might be, but it's also a fantasy game, so why not? If that's what people want, then
who wants it?
Yeah, brother.
Sabers are good. Yeah,
Sabers. Are they, I guess I guess I'm more thinking of swashbuckling swords from the more 60 to 1700s than I am the late 1800s.
Anything's possible.
He's definitely felt Mad Max.
Yeah, where's our review cycle?
Yeah, he's his name is Chris. He did a great job with that.
Yeah.
So we had a question: are the core mechanics in game loop locked down at this point, or are there considerations to play with how things like the essence system, card system, traders, and exploration will work in the future? So essentially, we still iterating the core design.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I would say quite the opposite of the suggestion that it's locked down. It's wide open right now, and we have a lot of conversations about how to get all that just right as we think about these various things that go in there.
Flood asks, I'm desperate for more story. I know you guys are obviously working on it along with so many other things. Is there an ETA on when the Winter Court will come into play? They're a real nerd for Fey lore and love everything about the story so far, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, not an exact ETA, but we continue to look at new Fey storylines as we think about new biomes, new content like that. So there's definitely going to be more narrative surrounding the Fey and more insights into their lore coming. Yeah, we've only scratched the surface of the Fey lore specifically in all the courts. Lots more to be told.
I think, I totally agree with that. There's cool stuff we can do there. I just want to touch on Mutu's question. Make armor invisible so you can costume your player like having a hat armor, but can your hair. That's very doable. So we'll.
I can build an invisible asset really quickly.
Well, maybe with the dye system.
Yeah,
like that sort of stuff.
Yeah. We'll figure out how to toggle that for you so you can. I will say I do struggle with some of those personally because I think to myself, as a game that's trying to be, like period specific, people just have to kick me to remind me that you want to dress up.
Yeah, but like bloomers on top hat. Valid fashion choice.
Oh yeah, that. But then to say, but I don't want my top hat visible. Because
that's the only thing.
That's like, it's like, okay, well, just remind me that that's what you want, and not like, well, no, clothing is clothing. I'm getting too old to this stuff. Too much of a stick in the mud.
Well, I'll send you something after this. It's a game my daughter plays. Has a system like this that's really good, so she can wear what she wants, but have the stats of other clothes she's not wearing.
Yeah,
it's quite.
Yeah,
that's what I was listening to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'll have to put
the chat can guess what game that is. They may though. They may know. But there we go. Okay, I have a couple of realm card related questions that I've got from the forum. First off, with the minor realm cards, someone's asking if there's any plans to go back to being able to play multiple at the same time, which was the case during the testing period.
That remains on our to-do list to let you stack minor realm cards and have fun with that.
Excellent. And then DeGale has asked, where does the realm card system go from here? What are the plans for expanding it? What would you like to see happen? What's the ultimate vision?
Well, for the minor cards, like the question I was just asked touched on part of it, allowing multiple. We definitely like a lot more functionality into the dynamic parts of the game. Because the cool thing about the minor realm cards, they should be able to affect anything in the realm. Like one we've talked about relatively recently is like being able to adjust, like say spawns, bring in like different types of creatures, stuff like that. But like the sky's honestly the limit on that stuff. It's just building the systems to allow dynamic changes.
State of Survival asked, will players ever get some water-based prefabs, like maybe large projects like building a galleon ship on the water or something like that?
I don't see why not. Yeah, probably good idea.
Probably that would be it's a unique prefab, right? That's so you could. Yeah. If it's a unique prefab, then it's a lot easier for our structure system to work with. So that's a good note. Actually, I think that's quite clever.
Yeah. Okay, so Reap has asked, is the Hunter hat having hard capped range damage boost without any material investment intended? That's a very specific.
That sounds like just a mistake on the data entry. Like if it's doing it without like materials modifying it, that's yeah. There was a lot of data.
Lehman Russ has asked, is there a mode for building a structure where you can either stack or stretch multiple of the same thing. For example, Satisfactory for foundations or machinery, there are modes like vertical, which is stacking on top, and Zoop to stretch a foundation line across the appropriate material. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think, one day, we talked about a spline-based fence builder for defensive structures, and so that's still on the backlog. So, yeah, we definitely think about those things.
Let's go with a more of a sort of vision question and sort of background on the game. The Big Beetle asks, what games or media inspired the setting of Nightingale? I'm sure a lot of people here know this, but it would be good for the audience that don't to jump into that.
There were a lot of reference points. The major one is a book called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, which if you haven't read it, I really recommend it. It's a fantastic read. And the reason that was important was it's this concept that magic is an academic pursuit that can be learned. And also from the perspective of Nightingale specifically, it's this idea that what happens when you breach the veil between our reality and the reality of fairy in the case of that book. And with us, it's breaking the veil between the realms of the Fae and humanity. And we just thought that was a really interesting concept because if people don't know, Nightingale was originally envisaged as a MMORPG, and it was all about realm travel. I mean, it still is about realm travel in that case, but those were those fundamental concepts that we thought were interesting and that we could play with. Strange and Norrell is set in the Napoleonic period. We pushed it forward kind of a century to get it into the latest stage of the 19th century, purely because there's a ton of interesting technology and
better guns.
Yeah, better guns, basically. Lots of cool stuff that was going down there, and it started to coincide with ideas about how humans could interact with portals because they could use the kind of benefits of the Industrial Revolution and build machines that could do it. It is a TV show too, so if you can't be bothered reading the book, do watch the TV show. Done by the BBC, and who can fault the BBC?
We used one of actors.
But yeah, we do. Well, Puck, good point. Yeah, Puck, the voice of Puck is an actor called Mark Warren who plays a character called the Gentleman in the dramatization of Strange and Norrell. And his character was very much the inspiration for the Fae, a kind of generic Fae.
Scarves, I just see the lore question about becoming Fae touched. That's a cool idea, and we've talked about similar things longer term, going on quests that would let you earn the favor of a Fae and becoming Fae touched to get greater abilities and greater powers. That's super cool.
Excellent. That's some cool stuff. We've got roughly about 15 minutes left, so we're trying to get through the questions as quick as possible. Appreciate everyone who's joined us and who's been asking stuff in chat and and you sent questions for beforehand. Thank you. Lick Silvertree has asked, will there be augments that affect the crude portals?
Interesting thought. We don't have current plans for that right now, but with the way the systems work, there's nothing preventing it. So it would just be a matter of deciding content that would affect them.
Yeah, like what sort of effects would people want to see on their portals? That's be interesting thought exercise. I highlighted the wrong one. Oh yeah, here it is. So Nefaria asked, are dark magic enchantments planned for any time soon to fill out the magic roster along with the nature and human spells we have currently?
Yes, but no specific timeline. It's probably the next school when we get to that, but not sure when that will drop.
Cool. And Laughing Dead Man has asked, but I kind of see this as a request, off switches for the augmentations. Any plans for that?
I haven't talked about that one yet, but that's a great suggestion. If you're just decorate your base with applying fetches. Yeah, that's
Cool. Any plans to add more pets outside of the dash hand? That's from Jucky. You'd love to be able to tame like a Mepic or a Catting, any of those fey creatures that are roaming about.
Not specific, but yes, we will be expanding things like the pet content. Taming is a different term. There's no specific timeline and nothing like that, but for like getting pets that you'd be able to build like little stuff for, yeah, always looking to expand the type of content.
Excellent. I'm going through more of the questions. I wonder if the dev team in the room would be interested for any questions around the recent updates. We've been covering a whole bunch of different topics, but obviously update 0.3 came out a week ago. Is there any questions on that topic that we could answer?
Hey, Scarps, what was the movie that was referenced there? Someone said they watched a movie that was a lot like Nightingale. What was the movie?
Just before Qatari's. Yeah, no, that's what we're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Inspector Gadget, but I'd have to check with them.
I could see that totally.
Pacific Rim.
The Pacific Rim, yeah. So someone's asked, are the graphics clearer since 1.3?
I don't think we did anything. The only thing that comes up is the what do you call them? Upscalers are constantly being updated, and it's possible there was a patch to one of those that improved that for you. But we haven't yet done the upgrade to Unreal 5.4, which just came out in April. So we'll probably get there at some point.
Someone's asking if we could have a top. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, stay tuned. The comment about the Thomas song.
Wondering issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just about to answer. Yeah. Cax has asked, is there any chance we could get someone to pronounce the names of the various fabled creatures?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's great. Yes.
That on our YouTube channel?
Yeah, not any of us, but
No.
No.
Get Mark to do it. Maybe. The Jotuns, I think Reap's asked this a couple of times, so I'll address it. The Jotuns and giants, aside from the forest giant, which we've seen in the trailer, are the only creatures that currently inhabit every biome type, albeit in different films. Is it possible they are related somehow?
the Jotuns and Giants? Related.
Yeah.
I don't like the mind boggles.
Yeah, I don't think they're related. I think they're both just opportunistic.
Yeah, like the Jotuns, like in my head at least, like animals are in all the different biomes, and they're not necessarily exactly related. So the Jotuns are their own thing. So.
Mummy Jotun and the Mummy Giant.
Yeah.
I think they did that. Wouldn't they be the daddy?
All right, let's move on. Shotgun James asked, with the fantastic increase to the bound diversity, is there a plan to add, say, a hunter bound that would be more dangerous and aggressive, sort of in the spirit of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill? So I'm assuming one that sort of stalks you.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit more willfully.
Yeah, Bjorn could get into specific, but the nice thing about the bound palette is we can do a lot with them and give you all different kinds of behaviors. I think we've largely focused on cosmetics and different looks to them, but now we're really getting into the behaviors. You see that with the last ones, and so new behaviors should be really fun to create new and stuff.
Yeah, their top priority recently has been like range, the bound faction, all Bailey. So we're sort of past that now, so more exotic behavior.
I think
Okay, good.
asking about fast travel in the realms, Week of Vista is coming ASAP. That so it should.
There we go. Kaz asks, with the 0.3 update, the new tiered materials have essentially returned to a best-in-class material standard crafting. Was it an intentional design choice?
Is that a compliment?
I actually don't know. It could be taken either way.
No, I think it is a compliment. I'm saying like that's very nice of you to say, and I would say I mean intentional in the sense of yes, we want it to be the best, but I don't think we think we're there yet. So I just appreciate that you think we are. That's all I want to say.
Oh, no, I think you misunderstood how I phrased it. Sorry, it was more that it's saying that the way that the system now it operates essentially is that there's like one best material to use in the
I see.
Yeah. Sort of diverse. Yeah.
That does depend on what you're trying to build for. But like we know that the most popular ones are typically damage and health. So yes, I think is the short answer because we've lowered the amount of stats to individual resource because otherwise, because they all apply to the item now, you end up with these crazy lists. So it's kind of a side effect of that change, but it does depend on what type of build you're doing. If you're doing magic, the material should be a different material than if you were doing melee.
Okay, great. We've got 5 minutes left. I did wonder from the team's perspective in the room, are there any questions you want to ask the players here to get their feedback on? I did this last time as well, and I think I caught you off guard, but I thought I'd try it again.
So one thing that comes up a lot recently is we like building quests and stories about the realms and giving new NPCs. They are very they're very challenging to do. You got to have a writer write it. You got to create the new character. You've got to place them in a realm. So it's why RPGs are big and take a lot of time because they're built with pieces that are big and take a long time. And so my sense is a lot of folks on this Discord chat love them and want to see more of those. But we just, we do like that. We just, the more guidance you can give us on how much you like those, the more it helps us prioritize them against other things. And just display name, no, it would have been a writer doing a bard ballad. There was no AI writing in it. I think Sarah did it, yeah.
People asking more quests, more bounty quests. Kaz asked, would there be a way for them to submit quest ideas and other people upvoting that? I would assume that using our feedback board would be the best place for that, unless we create a specific channel in Discord for sort of quest suggestions. What would the team prefer there?
Did
you hear Steph, Scarbs?
No, I did. Oh, board is best. There we go. Feedback board is best. Okay, cool. I'm just looking for more questions in here. Someone asked about, they know we're working on dyes for clothing, but will that apply to weapons as well?
Certainly in some form, yeah, customization of it. Yeah.
Everything but
okay. If Nefaria asks, if water ships are an option, will airships also be, in terms of like prefabs that we were talking about earlier?
It's not out of the question. Yeah. We could certainly look into providing those as a player facing. Yeah.
Cheseron asks, are there any plans to add traps that are in the vaults as spells? Like the poison traps, traps to it.
Yeah. Yes. So the first one that we had put like for ship is the Blast Miner's Trap, I think is what we called it. But like getting more of those in there, definitely. Area control spells are always a lot of fun, especially if you're playing
show the to the camera.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah,
sure. Yeah. So this is a work in progress, but for concept art, so it's portal going into older Jotun.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's your first tattoo, right?
That's right. Yeah, I don't do half measures.
No,
I just look up one page.
I got like a little,
I'm going to do Puck's Musk as a
Marino Jaws 314 or something. It's a square. No,
yeah. I'm going to get a tattoo of Neil's face with the puck mask on it on my back. That's what I'm going to do. So he'll get the tattoo on his face, and I'll get a tattoo of his face with the mask on my back.
If you're ever making a trip up to Edmonton and you really want a tattoo, just DM me. I can link you to a fantastic artist.
Awesome. Okay, we've literally got 1 minute left.
Tybalt, character is in. You can just do it from the UI. You can make your character look as different as you want every time.
It's at the start of the game.
We get the question again, Katari. Will we bring back the bubble UI as a toggle? Because some people really love the bubble UI.
What's the bubble UI?
The old hotbars we had.
Oh, that bubble UI. Yeah. I don't think I think maintaining 2 would be pretty tough.
It had some issues that we had a hard time resolving.
It was tricky to define how much the quantity of what you had.
Yeah,
that's the reason we changed it, so it was easier to read.
Yeah, will there be Nightingale merch? We ultimately should be.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
One day soon. And there will be balls with rifles.
Yeah, obviously.
In terms of the next update, Mad Max, we're planning that out right now, and so I think we like the cadence that we're working at in terms of providing updates, but at the same time, we know that the bigger and the more time we have for the team, the bigger and more meaningful they can be. And even right now, I think like the fact that some people don't know you can go back and change your character shows that we can not stretch these out. That's the wrong conclusion, but combine these in better ways and make them more thematic. And so we're trying to come up with more thematic ways we can assemble these things into stuff. So I just think definitely more updates coming, but we're going to try to combine them into more thematic things. And if it takes a little longer as a result to make them more big and meaningful, we're ready to do that.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up. So a big thank you to everyone who joined today. There's been loads of you. I hope we got through all the most pressing questions. As always, if we missed anything, a few of us can hang around and answer them. But thanks again. We appreciate all of you for jumping into the realms and exploring Nightingale and giving us all your feedback. And obviously, thank you to Leo, Neil, Aaron, and Bjorn in the room who have been answering your questions. We will keep doing these and keep tackling your questions. We will get this Q&A up on YouTube as well for people who joined late or missed it completely. Thanks everyone. I'm going to end the stage momentarily, but I'll just leave it to the team to say goodbye rather than talking over them as I've done the whole time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your support.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Great questions.
Yep, keep them coming.
Yeah.